Hello, friends. Oh boy. Whew. I'm in a state right now. So, after going to bed so late, I then could not sleep. And, sometimes I can't sleep, and that just means, it takes me, an hour to fall asleep, and then everything's fine. But last night, it was, I think I slept about 4 hours total, because I kept waking up after, maybe an hour of sleep, and then just rolling around, and, my brain wouldn't shut down to the point that I could actually, rest. So then I finally was in a stage of, actually sleeping for the last, probably 40 minutes. And then my alarm went off, and oh, hey, today is another day. So I don't know if you can see my eyes very much in terms of, how bloodshot they are around the edges, but then I consumed caffeine at lunch, which was a terrible decision, but I didn't really feel like hanging out with anybody, so I didn't go home. I got Chick-fil-A and pop, which was a decision that I regret. And I am jittery, to say the least. I am jittery. Woof. So, I promised I would talk about, things having to do with sexuality and the church. And I've had a lot of time to think about it since I brought it up 2 nights ago. A lot of time. And my position has stayed the same, unsurprisingly. But basically, specifically with how afraid most parts of the church are to actually talk about issues regarding sexuality, whether it's oh, this person has sex outside of marriage, or this person is in some type of open relationship. I was trying to think of examples that were on one end, and then on the other end there's oh, this person is homosexual or bisexual or a lot of other sexualities that there's a long list. And then there's also gender issues with the church, but honestly, I don't view those in the same category because they are not in the same category. Gender and sexuality are not mutually paired. Let's just put it that way. And so we will focus on sexuality because I have a better understanding of that topic than I do of gender. I'm a cisgender person, so I don't want to speak for anyone who is not. But because sexuality is such a broad topic that scares a lot of the church, I think that fear is then connected back to some pretty outdated views of sexuality based on interpretation of the Bible that does not leave room. First of all, it leaves no room for grace. Second of all, and I think even more importantly, it leaves no room for broadening your view or changing your opinion at some point. And there's gotta be a time when, as a whole, the church reaches out and accepts people who are not just straight people, you know? And not only that, even if they are straight, someone who is living a lifestyle that isn't, one sexual partner for their entire life and it's only within the confines of marriage, I think regardless of how you view those subjects, there is zero excuse, period, for mistreating anyone based on those choices or based on those lifestyles, based on who they identify as. There's no reason besides bigotry to mistreat somebody based on that. And I think that is a thing. And I've had a lot of conversations with people about this in the last few weeks, and all of those conversations have led to me returning to the same view, and that is that we are making progress as a church, but we have a long, long way to go. And I just hope we get there faster than it looks like we are right now. So we need to do better. As a whole, we need to do better. As the millennial section of the church, I think we have the most responsibility to do better, because a lot of us are accepting of people who are not in the perfect church category. Some of us are in those categories that are not the perfect church category. And for the people in the millennial generation who fit into those categories, we've got to step up, because education is the first thing towards a better acceptance and understanding, and eventually love. That takes a lot longer. And it will always be the young people who lead the way. It's sad it has to be that way, but it is. And I am fully in support of being a part of that movement. I am a part of that movement by talking about this, and I will continue to be until I can look around me and see people who are not all the same being treated with the same dignity, respect, and love as any other person in the room. That's a big goal, and I think it's a goal worth shooting for. And again, no matter what your view is on anything regarding sexuality, there is zero excuse for bigotry. Zero.